So when we see you at the gambling or at the table with like Lil Baby or whatever, you told me about how many stipulations they put on you that you're not allowed to touch any chips when you're in there. Like they'll let you in when you're with somebody who's gambling a lot, but they won't let you interact with the gambling in any way.
So in the last 2 weeks, I've encountered this like pretty heavily, right? Now, the first time that it was like really brought to my attention, the stipulations of when I'm sitting with somebody is I was with Lil Baby, and I don't want to say which casino we're at because, right, I'm not going to plug you guys. So we're at a particular casino, and I get a call. A lot of casinos, I have to tell them when I'm coming in, right?
And side question, if you had not been kicked out of the casinos in Vegas and we were doing this interview, would you sit here and just be like, yeah, just like gambling? Would you not admit that you had a secret? Or some kind of
I would,
extra edge?
What I always say is that I have a lucky coin, and when I flip it, heads is player, tails is bank.
So you would have acted kind of like dumb.
Yeah, I would have totally have blown this off, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you would have done it, but you would have given me some bullshit runaround answer?
I'm not even sure that exactly I would have taken this offer to do the podcast. I might have actually have told you, like let's say we were talking yesterday.
Let me keep doing this for a few more months till I get banned.
Yeah, or I'd be like, hey, you can, only talk about the parties or, something. But I definitely would not have divulged in any depths of my gambling.
That's cool that we get a little bit more.
Real You're the first, by the way.
Yeah.
I've never said any of this stuff before on the air.
No, I appreciate it. But so, okay.
So the first time was like, the first time that these stipulations when I'm with somebody became so relevant, I was with Lil Baby, and we're at the casino, and I have to call a lot of the casinos before I come in to say, hey, I'm going to be on property, because they always keep an eye out for me. I said, I don't want to be bothered. I'm just going to hang out, or I'm just coming in for dinner, or I'm just, my buddy's got a room here. I'm just going to go there and hang out, whatever it may be. So I contact a friend of mine, and I says, hey, I'm coming in with Lil Baby, and he's going to gamble. I'm just going to chill. And they get back to me, and they say, okay, you're good to sit there with him. You're okay to coach him, and you're okay to just hang out, but you don't place a single bet. Don't even act like you might place a bet. Don't have cash out. Don't do anything. Just sit there and just hang out. That's okay, no problem. And so me and Lil Baby, we played. When I walked up, he was already playing a little bit. He got there before me, and he was losing, and we sat down. And I was like, hey, man, let me help you a little. Let's do this, right? Let's do it right, And it was right after his concert. We all came from stage straight to the table. And we played 25 hands, and we won 24 of them. And he's
Baccarat.
In Baccarat.
And he knows what he's doing?
He's definitely a gambler, and he's definitely a Baccarat player. I mean, he knows how to play, for sure. And he's super aggressive. So if I was like, hey, man, if I was you, I would only bet $5K, and I'd bet it on player. He goes, you like player? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, all right, and just go max bet player, know? And I'm like...
I mean, that's kind of like what I said to you about you before. Like, my girl was like, is he really good at poker? And I'm like, well, he's more good than he is bad because he's so fucking aggressive that it's just like... there's just like like when it goes badly, it could go very, very badly. But like the famous, well, we don't need to get into it right away because there's more to discuss about this. But like, there's been a lot of famous hands with you already where you just basically got somebody to fold like an incredibly good hand and you had nothing, but you're just bluffing like crazy. And I mean, aggression in poker is usually better than meekness.
Yeah, and if you really look, I'm really only showing my bluffs during the game anyway,
right?
Because they're convinced that I'm always bluffing. So sometimes I flop the stone cold nutters, and I play the exact same way, and they're convinced that their ace king, one pair, two pair, top, something like that is good when it's not.
Right.
But those I keep to myself till they watch it on TV.
But so what value are you bringing to the Lil Baby situation? Is he looking at you as somebody who's like really guiding him and helping him be better at this, or what?
So when a lot of those types of like guys had first hit me up, it was really like, hey, man, I like to gamble on my own. And if I'm going to gamble, can you at least like increase my chance of winning, right? But like pretty quickly, I would say like 95% of any of these like famous people that hit me up about gambling, by the end of our first conversation, we've already like surpassed talking about gambling. We're talking about like friendship, and we all like seem to be blossoming friendships. There's actually not that many that hit me up about gambling. And I'm like, hey, man, my whole life's not gambling, and I can lose, and let me give you some details. And they're like, you know what? If you can't help me gamble, then I'm good. It almost never happens that way. So when I did play this time with Baby, right, we won 24 to 25 hands. And actually, one of the real reasons we lost that 25th hand is I told him, So there's a lot of strategy to how you play. You can't just like sit down, gamble, and like, oh, I'm winning. Okay, I'm gonna go. Right? There's more to it. So one of the things was I said, hey man, pick your number before we play. Where do you want to get when you're gonna call it quits? Where are you happy stopping? And he told me the number, how many dollars it was. I said, okay. So me and coach were there, so we're gonna keep an eye on that. And we hit that number. And we said, hey man, let's go. So we got all these girls. Let's go party, right? And he goes, nah, I'm gonna play until I lose. So he played, and then he lost one hand, but what he was good about it, he lost the one hand, and he goes, color me up, I'm out, you know. So that particular time, we were just partying all night, you know. Like, you know, he invited me to the stage for his concert that night and stuff like that. He hit me up. He's like, yo, I'm in town, come through if you're here. And so we partied, and then after the concert, after partying stuff, we played a little, and then after playing, by then it was like 6 a.m. So then the next time that these stipulations became really serious was I was with Roddy Ricch, Lil Baby again, Benjamin Kicks, and Kifa. And
shout out Kifa.
Yeah.
Rare mention right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's Roddy's A&R or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we were all coming into play, and the thing was we were playing at a property that I don't even know if I've ever been into 'cause it's not considered one of the high-end ones. And so I was really unfamiliar. None of them knew me by face. But I know that I'm banned. They just don't know who I am. I just look like I sell drugs.
So
right?
if you're banned from one casino in Vegas, they share information between them?
Oh, for sure. Especially executives. Because a lot of the execs over the years switch companies. So they already like
And that's
friends.
one thing they can all agree on is that they're all competing. But if there's somebody who's gotten one over on one of them, they all want them to stay the fuck out. So
yeah, exactly.
That's the one thing they can unite on.
Exactly. So I come into this property, which I'm unfamiliar. They're unfamiliar with me. And it's all these guys are really famous, and we like paparazzi and people trying to bother them, and we're just trying to gamble and chill and drink, and they're drinking and vibe and whatever. So I says to the pit boss, I says, hey, let's get a private room in the back, so everyone's entourage can just be left alone. Mm-hmm. He goes, no, you got to be special for that, right? And it was like this older white dude, and I says, well, I'm kind of special, so why don't you just get that room warmed up, right? And he goes, no. He goes, you got to be really special. And I says, my man, I don't think you understand. I am very special. I'm the most special, and so are these guys. Let's get the room. So we start arguing. So I throw my I don't want to say which card it is, because you'll know what company I was with, but I'm the invite-only black card elite at every property, right? So I throw this company's invite-only black card on the table, and I said, bro, I'm trying to tell you, I am the guy you're describing that qualifies for this private room. Make it happen. Well, he ended up running my card, and immediately I get security up in my face, and they say, sir, you got to go. Mm-hmm. I says, no, I don't. So the guy comes back and goes, you're banned. You got to go with security and get off our property. Now, mind you, so Roddy Ricch is standing to my left. Lil Baby is over here. Kifa's there. It's all these guys. This is like kind of embarrassing. And also,
it must be crazy for them because they're used to seeing people get busted for all kinds of shit and run into trouble in the street with the cops, etc. But they're probably not expecting it to happen at the casino.
Yeah, and most people have never seen this, even like regular people,
Yeah.
And they're looking at me, and I'm like, this is kind of whack, So I made a deal with the security guard. I said, why don't you stand with me against the wall instead of throwing me out until an executive FaceTimes me right now, and I hand my phone to this pit boss, and they get direct instructions that I'm allowed to be here, right? So everybody agrees. I'm standing there against the wall. The call comes in. The pit boss talks to the exec, and the rule was I am allowed to be there in the casino, and I'm allowed to sit at the table. But I cannot coach anybody. I cannot say anything. If I touch a single card, chip, or dollar, I am immediately ejected with all the security force they have on property.
Can't even talk, jeez.
Yeah. And, and when I post this kind of thing on social media, people are like, yeah, sure, bro, whatever. Well, listen, all these dudes are posting about me. I mean, every rapper has got something about me on their page right now. These dudes were really sitting with me. Roddy was there. Baby was there. Everybody was there. This is like no cap. Like, this is like all gown, no cap. You know what I mean? Fact check me with anybody you want.
Right.
So they run down, that was the rule. I can sit there, I can't say anything, I can't coach, can't touch nothing. So what I did was I put a mask on. Of course, I have to have a mask on. And I pull it high, and I play like the whole time with my hand in front of my face so I can say things, If I was gambling, I would bet, 1 unit player. If I was gambling, I'd go 4 units bank, like this.
And nobody's giving you a hard time about that?
Nobody gave me a hard time, but I think one thing that worked for me was the pit boss who was in charge got direct instruction that not just am I important in whatever facet I am, but exactly who it is that's sitting with me.
Right.
So I think he understood that he might be a little bit out of reach here to make such stringent demands.
Wow.
So they kind of gave me a little bit of space, and we all gambled and had a good time, and we were just there for the party. We're like there for day in Vegas, and that's it, chilling. Some people won, some people lost. Everyone was doing their own thing, just like drinking. They were like going back to the concert, coming back, going. The Raiders game was that day. Some people left for the Raiders game, so everyone was just chilling. But that was when it like really was like thrown in my face, like how serious these policies are about me even being on property, even if I'm with like famous figures.
So is this upsetting to you that you basically can't do the thing that you have had a lot of fun doing over the years, even if, you know, take you having an edge out of it? I mean, you're just not allowed to engage in this pastime that so many people get to enjoy, huh?
One of the most heartbreaking things for me, and the casinos are going to love when I say that they broke my heart in any way, but so be it, was that when I was living this lifestyle, it was all on their dime. You know, give me like 200 passenger jets. You know, one time I threw a 1,000-person party in one of my villas. It has 2 indoor pools. The entire floor of a building was mine. I had my own private elevator. And what I did was I had them fly me and like a couple of my people from Vegas to LA, where we picked up just a slew of like porn stars and influencers and models and some other homies and stuff, and flew them all back to Vegas to party. And we had this 1,000-person party that all these incredibly cool people showed up at, and I can't do any of that now.
And it just felt good that it was all in their dime.
Oh, that's the best. You know, that was the real Jew in me came out, you know. And yeah, and then when they took that away without giving me a heads up. So when I'm planning my next party or I'm planning my next, you know, event or whatever, come to find out all of it is now off the table and I'm just left, you know, with my dick in my hand. It really pissed me off.
Yeah.
It really pissed me off, yeah.